If I agree, that means my death. If I Then she cried out as loud as she could. The two elders began shouting too, putting the blame on her. And one of them ran to open the garden door. The household, hearing the shouting in the garden, rushed out by the side entrance to see what was happening. Once the elders had told their story, the servants were thoroughly taken aback, since nothing of this sort had ever been said of Susanna. Next day, a meeting was held at the house of her husband, Joachim. The two elders arrived, in their vindictiveness determined to have her put to death. They addressed the company. Summon Susanna, daughter of Hilkiah and wife of Joachim. She was sent for and came accompanied by her parents, her children, and all her relatives. All her own people were weeping, and so were all the others who saw her. The two elders stood up with all the people around them and laid their hands on the woman's head. Tearfully, she turned her eyes to heaven, her heart confident in God. The elders then spoke. While we were walking by ourselves in the garden, this woman arrived with two servants. She shut the garden door and then dismissed the servants. A young man who had been hiding went over to her, and they lay down together. From the end of the garden where we were, we saw this crime taking place and hurried towards them. Though we saw them together, we were unable to catch the man. He was too strong for us. He opened the door and took to his heels. We did, however, catch this woman and ask her who the young man was. She refused to tell us. That is our evidence. Since they were elders of the people and the judges, the assembly took their word. Susanna was condemned to death. She cried out as loud as she could. Eternal God, you know all secrets and everything before it happens. You know that they have given false evidence against me. And now, have I to die, innocent as I am, of everything their malice has invented against me? The Lord heard her cry, and as she was being led away to die, he roused the Holy Spirit residing in a young boy named Daniel, who began to shout, I am innocent of this woman's death. At which all the people turned to him and asked, What do you mean by these words? Standing in the middle of the crowd, he replied, Are you so stupid, sons of Israel, as to condemn a daughter of Israel unheard and without troubling to find out the truth? Go back to the scene of the trial. These men have given false evidence against her. All the people hurried back,